times a month, I don't rap much. I just take the money and go stack up. Only buying car to get tatted up. All that other bull, it don't matter much. You only climb me, I put the ladders up. No fault, I done doubled up on the workload. I think I fell in love with the bankroll. Pray up, get money, then we lay low. Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up. I'm just doing me, everything is on me. Oh, you matter what? Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up. I'm just doing me, everything is on me. Go hard, or go home. 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 Touchdown like the end zone. When the circle turn to my home, can't get me out of my zone. Go hard, or go home. Go hard, or go home. Yeah, these championship rings on my hands now. In my head I'm top 10, yeah, that's hands down. You a squad, now you're looking man down. Funny how foes turn to friends now. Drive a race car like a Atari now. Call filling up, I need product again. Treat the business like a playground, might slide on you. Do a backflip, cause I'm mad rich. I'm the definition of what that is. Go hard, or go home. 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 Touchdown like the end zone. When the circle turn to my home, can't get me out of my zone. Go hard, or go home. Go hard, or go home. I'm a warrior, I go back to back, then go back to back. If I top the top, then a double back, and I'm topping that. Yeah, I beat my own records. Yeah, I gotta get money fetish. Same team, I don't set trip. Never dull, this electric. Went and put the bricks on my toes. Me and bro, that's the give and go. Stay 100, end zone. Keep them coming. I know. I won't flood my wrist, no, I'm not dumb like that. I just wanna give my mama 100 racks. Go hard, or go home. 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 Touchdown like the end zone. When the circle turn to my home, can't get me out of my zone. Go hard, or go home. Go hard. The bricks on my toes. Me and bro, that's the give and go. Stay 100, end zone. Keep them coming. I know.
What's up? Welcome back.
Just wanna give my mama 100 racks.
Yeah, it's go hard or go home time, baby.
Go home. Go hard. Go home.
Get it.
Hey,
Go hard,
man.
Go home. Go hard.
What's up, man?
Come on, bro.
What's going on? Welcome back to the Bottom Line, episode 45. Let's go.
Hey, you got to hit that.
Huh?
You got
Oh, you want me to get that laugh for you? Man, welcome to the Bottom Line, episode 45. I'm Flo. That's Canteen over there. Oh, man, that's Jake's theme music. All right, welcome back to the Bottom Line. Hey, here we are. Let me turn on a little background music here. Episode 45, off a couple of weeks. We just kind of hit and miss lately. Hitting a few things here and there. Appreciate our Twitch person over there. Our loyal Twitch fan over there. Appreciate you. Put the comments on if anybody wants to comment anything. We'll turn them on for a little bit. But yeah, we're going to talk a little sports today. See what's going on. 1,041 members in the Facebook group. 1,041. Trying to get up to 1,100 and 1,200. Appreciate all the new members lately.
No.
What?
Go. Whatever the first Thursday in September, we're going to have 1,500 members.
Let's go. 1,500 members. Let's go.
1,500.
Wait. Let's go. We're doing 1,500 members by opening day NFL season. Let's see what happens. We'll see what happens. We appreciate you. Like, share, subscribe. Share this right now on your Facebook if you're on Facebook or even YouTube. We don't have a lot of stretch on YouTube. We got one Twitch guy that follows us here. Got a few on Facebook that watch the show, but a bunch on our Facebook page. But we appreciate you. So, hey, so a shout out. We did March Madness, man. We got our Final Four. San Diego State number 5 versus number 9 Florida Atlantic University. What? And then number 4 UConn versus number 5 Miami. All 4 seeds and below. Crazy March Madness. Man, hey, before we talk about anything on March Madness, we're going to talk about the Final Four. I wanted to shout out. Let me see if I can put it up. Remember we had our bracketology. I don't know if you remember.
Yeah.
So let me turn this off. So shout out here. Here's our the men's challenge. Here's our visit the Bottom Line Sports group right here. So our top guy, Disaster Dom 23. Disaster Dom 23, I believe. Let me make sure I got his name right. He's a friend of yours, right?
We actually played football together in high school and graduated together.
Oh, okay. Dominique Winder. Dominique, shout out to Dominique Winder for winning the bracket challenge. Total 610 points. I mean, he did root for Alabama to go all the way, of course, but that's okay. And nobody got it. I mean, if you look at nobody got everybody, a lot of Alabama fans here. There's one Kansas. I had Kansas, and then me, I had my thing filled out. I never hit send, and so I didn't even get any points, but I got worse than that. You didn't even fill one out, did you?
Bro.
Man, look at you.
You know,
so
man, because I always take underdogs. You know how I operate, bro. It's just me.
But that's not always a good thing to do. But anyway, so shout out to Disaster Dominique Winder, or is it Winder? Winder, Dominique Winder. Shout out to him. He got 610 points. And then Flyboy for life. He got second, 470. And then no bracket, the Sport Nut got third. It tied with him was Bama Champs 86, 440. Actually, a three-way tie for third place. Oh my 81, 440 points. So, but that's how it ended up. We had 9 people apply or kind of come in the group. But yeah, it was fun. It's been crazy. Final Four. So what do you got to say, Canteen? Crazy Final Four. A lot of craziness going on.
Bro, when I look at the Final Four, man, I never imagined the teams that we have in the Final. Always an underdog type of pick. I pick all underdogs, man. But I'm very shocked. Diego State and to see the Florida Atlantic University in there. Right. I mean,
I think let me bring it up. Go ahead.
All the seeds are gone. The 2, 3.
Mm-hmm.
There are no top in that are playing for the championship, man. So I mean,
it's crazy.
Look
at the matchup analysis. Their strength of schedule. San Diego State actually had a strong strength of schedule, the strongest. FAU 109 strength of schedule. I mean, they didn't play anybody. They're just playing well in the tournament.
Yep.
And then if you look at the other side, the Miami and UConn, Miami, congratulations, they just upset Texas. They came back. They even have a strength of schedules at 80th and 68th. Though Miami is 6-1 against top 25. So I mean, it's just teams got on a run, and like I told you before, if you look at these tournaments, a lot of times you got to look at who's got a lot of juniors and seniors on the team. A lot of experience usually wins these games, and that's usually when I dig into the weeds. I look and see who's your starters. If your starters are a bunch of seniors and juniors, you're gonna probably make a run, depending on how well you played during the season, of course. If you had a good run during the season, even if you're in a lower tier team like San Diego State, lower tier conference, or even FAU, if you have a lot of juniors and seniors on that team, you're probably going to make some more run. Now, this is probably deeper than I would have thought they would have made a run. especially FAU,
Right.
a number 9 seed. I don't think we've seen something like that since I think VCU was 11 seed back in the day. I think that was the last
Right.
time we had anything like that. So it's just crazy to think that a 9 seed and a 5 seed are playing, to make it to the championship game. It's crazy.
But the whole March Madness deal, man, it's like I said, you go hard to go home, man, and the whole tournament is blew my mind. Your Arkansas, your Tennessee, your Houston, after Fairleigh Dickinson beat your Purdue, man, I was like, by this game at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been a good college basketball. I'll say that.
Right. Yeah, and I think that another part of that is a lot of people were saying that it's kind of a watered down season a little bit, in that there's not a dominant team. I'm just saying, as far as there's not a dominant team.
Powerhouse. Yeah.
You didn't have a dominant that was a clear cut, man, they're a top team. You had about maybe 5 or 6 teams that kind of could be number one. Alabama was up there for a little while. People thought Gonzaga was going to do it again. They kind of struggled during the season. A lot of people looked at Baylor. Some people looked at Kansas. Texas had their moments during the year. A lot of teams had their moments during the year. Even Purdue, for a lot of the year, a lot of people thought Purdue was the best team. They knocked out in the first round by a number 16 team. So that's why we're seeing a lot. You said that there's not a top clear-cut number one. There was a lot of teams that are even this year were even Houston. They were kind of at the top of the rankings for a while. And so a lot of these number one seeds, they weren't clear-cut number ones. They weren't like far and away better than all the other top 10 teams, let's say. The number one team wasn't necessarily the clear-cut top team. Because even Purdue, I mean, it's all about also it's a little bit, it's about if you're making a run at the end of the season, how you're playing at the end of the season.
And then that's what speaks volumes, are persistent. Or
right.
You're not doing what it takes in the tournament, because what a lot of people fail to realize is one and done.
Right.
You got to show out every night.
It's not like the NBA Finals, because in basketball, it's tough. It's tough. You can have an off shooting night and lose that game. So that's why it makes it so crazy, and that's why they call it March Madness, because you got one game. I mean, it'd be hard to make it like I think it'd be more fair. 2 out of 3 would probably show you. I say 2 out of 3 games. I don't think Purdue loses twice to FDU. I think Purdue beats them 2 out of 3 times. But that one game that Purdue's off a little, that they're not playing well, and that's all it takes. And I think there's a lot of. Yeah, go ahead.
Let me caveat on this, man. Play tournament this year, man. Mm-hmm. I saw a lot of chatter, different podcasts, different chatter, different analysts talking about that with the college basketball, they want to expand the football. I mean, they've already said that they're going to expand the football anyway.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, they might, and I think a lot of people have been clamoring that for decades, wanting to expand the football. And I think, what is it, 2025? They're going to expand the football championship. So this next year is probably the last year, I guess, for the current system, the top 4.
I think, yeah. Okay. Somebody said what's good, y'all.
What's good, y'all? Who is it? Hey, shout out. Hey, what's up, Elias? Jump on if you want to jump on and join the conversation, Elias. You're welcome to join the conversation. But yeah, a lot of surprises in this tournament and a lot of good basketball, really. I mean, it was competitive basketball. That's always a good thing, that it was competitive, right? Most of these games were very competitive. I think there was only a couple of blowouts. I think, what was the team? I think UConn. I think UConn's the only team that's kind of blown out everybody, but the last game, UConn, who did they play? They kind of blew up Arkansas. They blew out Gonzaga and Arkansas. So UConn, I say, is the favorite right now to win it all. Dan Hurley's on that. He's the coach of that team, a former Duke alumni. Has that team playing well. I say right now, to me, UConn's probably the favorite to take it all. I like UConn and San Diego State to be in the championship, and then UConn to win that. But I wouldn't be surprised San Diego State just comes out and surprises everybody. But they've been playing well in this tournament. They're on making a run. They got a lot of senior and junior leadership. So let us know what you think. Who you think is going to win? San Diego State and FAU, Miami, UConn. I got UConn as my early favorite right now to take it all. So what are you saying? You see something?
Nah, bro. I like some trees, man. They got some big men. They're pretty consistent, man. And
who's that?
They played really, really hard, man. So
yeah,
I'm taking.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised
if you were saying
to win it all.
To win it all, whoever wins that game is gonna win the Swappers.
I think FAU's run is over. They Cinderella team. They played well, but I just don't see them playing two more good games. I see them losing one of the next two games. I just don't see them going all the way. If they win, maybe they got a shot if they beat San Diego State. But UConn, I don't think they can beat UConn and Miami. FAU. I think it might be a little bit of. I would rather see San Diego State go. I think it'd be more competitive. Whoever they play over there. I think if FAU makes it to the championship, it might get ugly. To be honest, I just think that FAU. I don't think they're that team that just can continue to play this great. They've had a couple of tough games. I mean, they played well all season, and but they had a couple of ugly games in there. And you remember they had they didn't have to play Purdue. They got to play FDU in that next round.
Right.
They barely upset Memphis, so they had kind of an easier. They played a number 16 team, which they were probably better than, and then they went and upset Tennessee, which was just a little bit of a surprise.
Correct.
And then K-State, that was a tough game, and I just don't know if they've got enough juice to finish it out. But we'll see. It'll be fun. It's been competitive throughout for the most part, and I just think UConn's got the upper edge in this. What's that?
Like I said, if it's UConn, FAU is going to be like the one that dominated Butler in 2011.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Butler and VCU were the last kind of lower seeds to make it.
You just mentioned earlier, right, correct.
Yeah. Is that his comment there? Yeah. I think so too. I think it's going to be tough to really come out of really FAU to continue to make two more big games, because these will be big, huge games. It's the Final Four. You got big, huge games. I think FAU will falter here in the next two games, maybe against San Diego State. San Diego State has played well. You know, they had a good run for the most part, and they had a little bit of, you know, they played Charleston, but then they got to play a team that upset Virginia. They got to play Furman, who they were clearly better, and then their big game was against Alabama, and that was a big game for them to win. And then they got to play Creighton, which is a number 6 seed, and that was a close game. So I just feel like San Diego State's probably got the edge there. It's probably going to be a good game, though. But I feel like San Diego State's going to pull it out in the end to go play either Miami or UConn. Probably UConn, in my opinion. All right, so, man, good basketball. Two more games, really 3. Final Four and then the championship game. So a lot of NFL news. So let's talk a little bit about Lamar Jackson. News reports coming out that Lamar said that he's done with the Ravens. Different people have come on board saying that, some rumors that they're trying to get Lamar Jackson, possibly the Jets if the Aaron Rodgers doesn't work out. I don't know. What do you think here? The Lamar Jackson saga continues. Is he really done with the Ravens? Is he going to come back and play for them?
Man, I mean, it's really a hard pill to swallow, man. Because when you look at a lot of the teams that were open and needed quarterbacks and that invite for him, Patriots, you got the other team, the Raiders, the Saints. None of those teams for him to get a job didn't jump out at him like expeditiously. Remain with the with the Ravens at this point, man. I don't see anybody pick him up.
But there's reports now that Lamar doesn't want necessarily a fully guaranteed necessarily, or he's willing to negotiate the fully guaranteed as far as how much he's getting. I think he still wants a fully guaranteed contract, but as far as the top end of that, he's kind of said there's reports that he's kind of okay. He'll take a little less, basically. I don't know. I mean, it seems like there's a lot of bad blood now between him and the Ravens. I don't know, just because of the negotiations. This is why I think that he should have got an agent. Let the agent deal with all that.
So he got an agent. Got an agent last season.
Right.
He should have got an agent.
Yeah, he should have got an agent. That way, there's nothing personal. The agent does all the business for you. You don't got to worry about talking to the team. You don't got to worry about doing anything. You let the agent kind of be that buffer, because basically, I guess his mom is kind of his agent, but his mom's gonna take it personally. She's gonna come back to Lamar, maybe emotional, maybe angry about how they're. I'm just saying, you got to get somebody, an impartial party like an agent, to go in there and do that negotiating for you, because it's just not. It's not working for him, because NFL teams aren't worried about making Lamar Jackson's mom mad, if you know what I mean, because she only represents Lamar Jackson.
Or for a guy like Lamar Jackson, he's not gonna get a fully guaranteed deal like a Russell Wilson or because he's so injury prone.
Well,
let me ask you this question.
Well, I think he go ahead. I think he can get a fully guaranteed contract, because I just don't think he can get as much as he was asking for. He was asking
as
for
much money.
Deshaun Watson guaranteed type contract. He can get it fully guaranteed. I just don't think he's going to get that $230 million range of fully guaranteed.
Where do you feel that Lamar Jackson fit for this year? If a team that needs a quarterback,
I think the best landing spots. Now, I don't know if he's going to go there. I think the best landing spots for him are probably Washington Commanders. Washington Commanders.
Okay.
Yeah, because they got Sam Howell right now. They brought in Jacoby Brissett. Sam Howell doesn't really cost them anything. Jacoby Brissett doesn't cost them anything. They really need a quarterback. I think that's a good landing, because they really do need a quarterback. The Panthers, they got the number 1 pick. They could use him and trade away that pick and get more picks to put more weapons around Lamar Jackson. So that would not be a bad move. I don't know if Miami's a good move for him. I think the Texans could be a good place for him. They need a quarterback. I don't know if they're willing to pay for Lamar Jackson, but that could be a good landing spot for him. And possibly, like you said, the San Francisco 49ers. I mean, they got 2 guys that coming off injuries. We've never seen Trey Lance to see what he can actually do. We don't know if Brock Purdy's not going to be ready at the beginning of the season, so they're going to have somebody for a couple games.
Then Trey Lance got
He what?
Trey Lance is a question mark. I mean, I don't know if they're going to...
Well, he's a question mark in that we've never seen him play more than a game. The one game he did play was in a monsoon. It was pouring down rain. It was hard to really evaluate him as a quarterback playing in that kind of weather. So, and then the other game he got hurt early on. So we don't really know what he is. We don't really know. He's only played 2 games in the past almost 3.5, 4 years, because he didn't play the COVID year in college. So he missed that whole year, and then the next year he didn't play, and then the following year he got hurt. So I mean, we haven't seen a lot of him. So we don't know what he is. We think we know.
I would caveat on what you said earlier. I think the best landing for the right amount of money for a nice guaranteed deal for a guy like Lamar Houston. Definitely Houston. Houston hands down.
Yeah, I think Houston or the Commanders are the best spots for him that need a quarterback, that desperately need a quarterback. Houston could be number 1, and I think Commanders are number 2. I hope he doesn't go to the NFC. I don't want to see him over there, but that could be probably the best 2 spots for him. The only reason I say San Francisco's not a good spot is because it seems like all their quarterbacks get hurt. They get a lot of injuries. I don't know what it is about how they practice or their conditioning. They always seem to have quarterbacks that get hurt. they always seem to have, I don't know if it's just bad luck. I don't know what it is, but they have a lot of injuries over in San Francisco. Debo's always hurt. So I don't know if that's just coincidence or that's something about how the 49ers conduct business as
they operate.
Yeah, I don't know if that's just how they operate as far as, they play too hard or they don't condition correctly. I don't know what it is, but they seem to have a lot of bad injuries at the wrong times throughout the year. But anyway, so yeah, what about the Aaron Rodgers? Is he going to end up with the Jets? I mean, there's so much speculation. Aaron Rodgers came out on the McAfee show, said that he planned on playing for the Jets. That was his plan. The Packers are asking for a first-round pick, but the Jets don't want to give that first-round pick. I think number 13 pick, they don't want to give that up. So there's a lot of speculation. The Jets picked up a second number 2 pick. I think I can't remember who they traded away, but they picked up another second-round pick, assuming that those 2 picks will end up with Green Bay at some point. But is he going to end up there? I mean, they already signed Lazard, who is the receiver, one of the receivers that Aaron Rodgers wanted. Yeah, that was part of kind of the list that he wanted.
What's the other guy played at Green Bay? He's another receiver for Green Bay. Played with Aaron Rodgers.
Who, Cobb?
Man.
Randall Cobb?
Those are his top 2 guys he wanted. I really think he's going to sign with him, man. I think it's just a matter. But I think he needs to sign with him sooner or later, man. Rodgers needs to.
But it's going to be a trade, though. It's not like Aaron Rodgers doesn't want to sign something. It's a trade. It's just that
But what are the Jets willing to give up for him?
Right. Apparently, they're not. They don't want to give up a number 1 round, a first round pick. But it looks like they may be willing to give up 2 second round picks.
Second or third round.
Yeah. And so we'll see what happens. I mean, I'm assuming that the Jets don't want to. I think Aaron Rodgers gets something like $50 million this year. I don't know if the Jets want Green Bay to pick up some of that salary and say, hey, we'll give you this, but we want that. So there's a lot of negotiating there. And in the end, I think that the Packers have the leverage here because the Packers, either way, they got a starting quarterback, and the Jets need one badly. So in the end, I think the Packers have a little more of the leverage here because they can go back and I mean, they probably don't want Rodgers in the locker room anymore, but they're going to go with Jordan Love anyway. And the Jets, they have no quarterback to go to. So the Jets are kind of under more pressure to make a deal here. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully they just make a deal. I mean, just get rid of them. The Packers, they don't want to make a bad deal, but at the same time, just do something to get Aaron out of there. Aaron doesn't want to be there. Well, I mean, I'm assuming he doesn't want to be there anymore because of all the stuff that's come out, and I assume that the Packers they want to move on now from Aaron, and the Jets obviously need a quarterback. So they're in an impasse now, and they're trying to make negotiations. I just hope that they just get it done and get it over with. But who knows? This could drag on into the season almost. But we'll see. Any other trade talks? Mecole Hardman went to who did he go to? To the Jets? Yeah, Mecole Hardman went to the Jets. Right?
Yeah, he went to for a 1-year deal.
The Chiefs, right? He went to the Jets. So they got him and Lazard. So are they getting those for? I would think they're trying to set it up for Aaron Rodgers to have some good weapons. So it does look like it's trending that way. It's just they got to nail down all the details of the trade. Any more trade things that are going on? Trades that have happened.
When I looked at the trade market, man, I saw Bills. They end up getting rid of Devin Singletary. Devin Singletary ended up going, but I think the Buffalo Bills are trying to draft this kid out of Texas.
Yeah,
forgot the kid's name, man. What's his name?
Elijah Moore was the guy that they traded to the Browns. Yeah. The receiver they traded to the Browns. The Jets did in order to get another second round pick, just as a caveat. But go ahead.
But they're gonna try to get Bijan Robinson. That's who
they're gonna try
the
in the
Bills
draft.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. Yeah,
back.
yeah. There are a lot of people like Bijan Robinson. Cowboys have even talked about taking him if he's available at 26. I don't think he'll last that long. He might go top 20. So we'll see what happens there. Yeah. Who was I gonna say? Jalen Ramsey. Remember, of course, this is a couple weeks back. He went to the Dolphins. So the Dolphins got another kind of a shore up that back end of their defense.
You said he was washed up. I thought you said he was washed up.
He is washed up. I'm just saying that's what they're trying to do, get him to shore up that back of that defense. But I'm not saying it's gonna work. I'm just saying that's the plan. I mean that's what.
So you don't.
I think it's a bad trade, but I don't think so. I mean, I don't know. Based on last season, maybe I'm just putting too much weight on what last season, the last couple of years. But last season he didn't do well. Even the year before, he seemed to be tailing off. So I don't know. Once a cornerback, it's kind of like a running back. Once a running back or cornerback, once they start to tail off, you don't really get that back. You know what I'm saying? They rely a lot on that lower body, quick, fast twitch. Change of direction. They rely a lot on that lower body, and if once that starts to decline, I mean, it's hard for a cornerback or a wide or a running back to really get that back. So anyway, so let's talk a little Cowboys. The Cowboys got Brandon Cooks, wide receiver from the Texans. He's a big time receiver. They also got Stephon Gilmore from the Colts, so the Cowboys are loading up a little bit. They've had a pretty good offseason. They started out kind of slow, but what do you think our Cowboys, they're doing some nice moves in the offseason, it seems like.
Here's the thing I like about the Cowboys.
Okay.
They're making moves where they signed Cooper Rush to a 2-year, $6 million deal.
Right.
The backbone of the offense. And I'm going to be honest with you, so you may not like me for this because I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan at this point.
Okay, let's go.
I would Cooper Rush before Dak Prescott. That's the truth.
Oh, Lord.
The numbers. Okay. We got a guy, Ron Jones, at running back. They tagged Cooks.
Pollard.
Man, I'd rather have an Amari Cooper over.
Well, but I mean, Brandon Cooks is a solid receiver. He's solid. I mean, he's
solid.
He's a solid. He's a solid number one. He's a really good number two. He's a top-notch number two. If you put him behind CD, he's a top-notch number two. I mean, he's gonna pull. You're not gonna leave CD just because Brandon Cooks, he can cook you. He's got juice still, and I think they should still go after. Maybe an OBJ or DeAndre Hopkins. There's still rumors he's out there that he might want to go to Dallas, but who knows? But I mean, like I said, they're still talking about possibly trying to draft Bijan Robinson if he drops to 26, which I think that would be a good. To me, I wouldn't mind that. I mean, he's probably the top running back in the draft. If he's there at 26, I would take him too. But I don't know if he's going to drop that far. I mean, because they do got Pollard, but he's coming off an injury. You don't have after that, you don't have a great running back. So Bell was a good guy in the defense. Huh?
Gilmore, man.
What's that?
Man, that's a great addition to the Cowboys defense.
Deron Bland ended up being a good cornerback for us. Now that we got Stephon Gilmore on one side, we have Diggs on the other side, right? But then Deron Bland out of Fresno State, he's really good last year. Rookie, I think he played really well. So he's a good nickel guy. He can back up either Gilmore or Diggs. Give him a break. Bland's a good cornerback for us. So I think that their defense looks pretty solid right now. And it's
Dante Fowler's a pretty good edge rusher.
What's that?
You think Dante Fowler's a pretty decent edge rusher?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, what do you think about him? I mean,
signed to another year deal, So I think they're just gonna play it out and see what he does this year, man. They're not gonna give him a money. They're not gonna sign him long term because they just want to see what he's able to bring to the table.
Right.
But
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Deontay Fowler is solid. I mean, he's coming out of he was in Atlanta, right? So you know a little bit about him.
Yeah.
So I think he's a decent guy. I think he can give you a little bit of he can give a break to some of those guys who need a break. He can help so that way, you don't have to put Micah Parsons out there air played rushing. He can be that guy that gives, change it up and not have to always be Micah Parsons, edge rushing all game long, and you can give him a break. So I think overall the defense is solid. I think the defense is super solid. I think it's all going to come down to Dak. Can he have a bad bounce back year?
Absolutely.
A la Patrick Mahomes, because remember not this Patrick, but the year before, a lot of people were saying that Patrick had too many interceptions. He was too many interceptions. That wasn't kind of his. He doesn't throw. And same thing with Dak. He doesn't really throw a lot of interceptions. He's not a big interception guy throughout his career. It's just last year the ball didn't bounce there, I think.
The part of the season, he just man.
Yeah. I think. What do you think? Getting rid of what's his name, Kellen Moore, and having Mike McCarthy run the plays is a good thing overall for Dak in general.
To be honest, man, I need a good, sound offensive mind that knows how to run the offense and run the offense. With Kellen Moore was not the answer, man. And I don't think putting a head coach in charge of doing the offense. No, man. You need a good offensive mind that's consistent with the ball and utilize the weapons that we all have in our organization.
Yeah, I think this can work. I don't mind McCarthy calling the plays as long as he gets an offensive coordinator, offensive coach that runs the day-to-day, and still Mark McCarthy is the head coach overall. He doesn't focus too much on the offense, and that's all he's doing, right? If he focuses too much, then he can't be the head coach. I don't mind him calling the plays during the game as long as he's got a good assistant coach, offensive coach, however you want to call it, that's doing most of the legwork and doing most of the and he's just coming back to Mike and kind of, hey, this is what the offense looks like. What do you think? Any tweaks you want to make? Blah, blah, blah. Hey, this is what we want to do. And the offensive coordinator / assistant coach or whatever, I don't know who they signed. I haven't looked lately to see who they brought in. But I'm assuming they're going to bring somebody in or have somebody do that role and have that person kind of be your eyes and ears on the offense, and you still be the head coach. And then you kind of set the game plan. Right. You let them help you set the game plan, and you get your plays together, and you call the plays. Because I think Mike McCarthy, I think it'll be good for Dak in that Mike McCarthy is not as prone to just start passing it all the time. I think a lot of times Kellen Moore, even though the run game was working, sometimes he would get away from the run and start passing it more and passing it, right? I think Mike McCarthy is more inclined to run the ball if the run game's working. He's more inclined to do more of a balanced offense, to run a balanced. So that's what I think it'll be good for Dak, is that as Coach McCarthy, I think, will run a more balanced offense than Kellen Moore would tended to do. In that sense, I think it might be good for Dak.
For Dak.
All right, any other NFL stuff? What do you think? Yeah, go ahead.
Man, Kellen Moore was so unpredictable, man. But I think overall, man, stuff like that, man. And I mean, like, I want to highlight some of the draft stuff that I saw earlier. Mel Kiper Jr. is like 3 or 4 draft picks. I mean, right now, Carolina is QB as their number one pick. They got their trade from the Bears, and then Stroud as their QB from Ohio State. And then I was looking at Will. He is going to go third to Indianapolis. So for what it is right now, man, I really don't know. It's really a big talk, trying to see what teams really need and what teams really want in order for them to do what they need to do them. But we were talking about Carolina, the QB,
Right.
But then, like you said, if Lamar Jackson's on him, trade off that first round pick, and they can bring in more weapons to build offense.
Right. Exactly.
For them to dominate.
Yeah. Exactly. So I think it feels like, because most people don't play their card. They have really talked up. Is it Stroud? C.J. Stroud? They've really talked him up. They went to his pro day.
C.J.
All this
Stroud
stuff. Usually, and unless there's a clear cut number one, teams don't usually, unless they're trying to sell that pick to somebody. That's what I feel like. Carolina may be trying to sell that pick. If they can get Lamar Jackson, for sure, you need to sell that pick to somebody. Unless you think, somebody like, what's that? Will Anderson from Alabama or Jalen Carter is going to be that much of a difference maker that you need to take him at number one. But I say you trade that piece away for some more number one, first and second round picks, and that you build around Lamar Jackson if you're able to get him. But I don't know if Carolina can pull that off. I mean, I don't know. That's a tough one. Like you said, we said what? I think the Commanders or the Texans are probably the best landing spots for Lamar.
Correct.
But it's so much in the air that's gonna depending on where Lamar goes, that's gonna kind of set the picture for what's gonna happen in the draft.
Because when I look at like Jalen Carter may go to the Bears, and they got the kid from Alabama. Got Will Anderson slated to go to Seattle like right now.
And then you got to look at because you got Carolina and Houston 1-2. So if either one of those teams get Lamar Jackson, they're not going to get a quarterback.
They're not.
So that's gonna change the complexity of the draft if either one of those guys get get Lamar Jackson. See what I'm saying? So until Lamar Jackson is settled, the draft is kind of up in the air a little bit. Even the Colts have been kind of in the what do you call it, in the rumor mill for Lamar Jackson.
Matt Ryan
and they picked number 4. They picked number 4. I mean, they could trade up if they need to get a quarterback with Carolina. If Carolina gets Lamar, the Colts could trade up to get the number 1 pick and get the quarterback they want. I mean, there's a lot of shifting that could happen again, depending on where Lamar goes.
Correct.
Yeah, and we're gonna assume that we're gonna go ahead and assume that Aaron Rodgers ends up with the Jets. I think. I'm saying there's a probably 85% chance he ends up with the Jets, maybe even a 100% chance.
With them.
Yeah, with the Jets.
That is
yeah.
Something.
And so the other thing is, can the Ravens work things out with Lamar, or is he going to end up with another? What do you think the likelihood is? Is it more likely that Lamar ends up back with the Ravens or with some other team, no matter who it is, some other team other than the Ravens? What's the better chances of happening? What do you think?
Then what's it? Who's gonna be the quarterback if he leaves Baltimore?
That's what I'm saying. I don't know. I mean, I assume it's the guy that they have there now. That's the Lamar Jackson light. What's his name? I can't remember his name right now.
Who's that?
But you know what I'm talking about. The guy they have.
What's the guy's name?
I couldn't tell you, man, off the top of my head.
Backup quarterback?
I'd have to. Yeah, the backup quarterback for them. I know his name. It slips in my mind right now.
Huntley.
Huntley. That's him. Huntley. So I mean, I assume they're gonna have to roll with Huntley, and Huntley is basically Lamar Jackson. Light. I mean, he's not. Yeah, I mean, he's a slightly not as good version of Lamar Jackson. He's basically Lamar Jackson that he can't run quite as fast, he can't grow quite as good, but he's basically the same guy, not quite as good though as Lamar, right? Especially with his legs, he's not as fast, definitely. And so I think that's how they're gonna have to roll if they don't sign him. I mean, what else can you do?
I mean, that's all you got. I mean,
you have no choice.
I think he'll be gone. He'll end up in Baltimore, but Baltimore won't be as strong of a team organization. They got the Browns.
So you think it's more likely he's not with Baltimore or that he's with another team? What are you saying?
He's gone. He's gone.
He's gone? So it's more likely he's gone. I still give the slight edge to the Ravens. Slight edge. I think he's more likely he ends up back with the Ravens than he does with another team. I still think. Yeah.
Let me ask you this. What's a good number for you to give him?
To get what?
How many millions of dollars are you willing to give if you're a part of that organization? How much would you give him?
I would be willing to give him 160 million guaranteed, and make it even a 230 million whatever dollar contract, but 160 guaranteed, I think is feasible. And incentivize the rest, playing time, whatever, all that good stuff. It could be a total package of 230, 240 million, whatever it would be. But 160 million guaranteed, I think, is doable. Probably maybe a 5-year deal. He might want a 4-year deal. I might be willing to go 4-year deal on that. But I would say a 5-year, 160 million is reasonable for both sides. And I think Lamar wants a 3 or 4-year deal because he wants to go back and make another deal later. But I think a 5-year deal, if we can agree, even a 4-year deal, I would go as high as 160 with a 4-year deal, guaranteed. Maybe even go a little higher, 170 on a 4-year deal, and incentivize the rest based on like playing time, playoffs, all that whatever stuff, a bonus and all that whatever stuff. Making 160. I think that's the best deal for both sides. I don't know if they can get there. I think there's a slight chance. I think there's more of a chance he goes back to the Ravens because they have done so much to build that offense around him. I don't know that there's an offense out there that is built for him to succeed, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Not like the Ravens are, right? The Ravens is an offense built around Lamar Jackson. There's not a team like that out there that has built their offense on a run-first quarterback type of player. Maybe run second, but run close to pretty much first or second. It's a close, it's closely built around Lamar, and I don't know if there's another offense that's built like that could complement Lamar Jackson's skills, like the Ravens do. That makes sense.
Absolutely.
Okay. Any other NFL stuff you want to talk about?
Man, NFL's looking like April 27th, baby. April 27th.
Yeah, a lot of NFL. I mean, there's a lot of NFL stuff we can talk about. There's so much stuff going on. So let's talk a little bit of NBA. Let's look at the standings. Let me bring it up here. See if I got the standings on here. Let's see here. Here we go. Bring up the standings. Turn off the chat here. All right, so here we go. NBA standings, the Eastern Conference. You got Milwaukee, slight lead for first place. Boston, Philadelphia. All three of those teams have clinched a playoff spot, but they haven't clinched the division or their conference or whatever it's called. I can't remember what it's called now. Well, my bad. Their division.
Yeah.
But anyway, so they haven't clinched their division. Maybe Boston has in Philadelphia. But anyway, so as far as the conferences goes, you have Philadelphia third, Cleveland is fourth. New York is still doing well, and they're fifth. Brooklyn is sixth. That's a surprise. They did give a lot of teams a lot of good players to the Nets. Y'all are young players who are playing well. Miami is still kind of a dangerous team at number 7. You have Jimmy Buckets. You get him in the playoffs, anything can happen. I think he's a great playoff competitor. You have Atlanta. Your Atlanta Hawks, who you still have in your heart. You still root for them, I think. Number 8, Toronto 9, and Chicago at number 10. So Chicago vying for a playoff spot as well, or a play-in spot, as the saying goes. And then let's look at the West real quick, and then we'll talk about there are some different scenarios. So we got Denver Nuggets still holding on to that top spot. Memphis, Ja Morant has come back in the last couple games. He's played solid. Has looked pretty good coming back off those that suspension. Sacramento, so, kind of frisky Sacramento has played well down the stretch. Phoenix, we don't know when KD's coming back, but they've hanging at number 4. LA Clip 5. Golden State is at 6. They're in the playoffs, not in the play-in at this point. There's not a lot of separation after 5-6. New Orleans at 37-37. They're like 1 or 2 games out of playoffs. They're in the play-in. Minnesota's right there. The Lakers just lost. LeBron came back, and the Lakers still lost. So I guess LeBron's back on form. Anyway, but you got Oklahoma City, and Dallas at this point is out of the playoffs. Surprisingly, at one point during the season, weren't they like number 6 seed or something like that? Dallas has really fallen off since the Kyrie trade. I don't blame. Well, the Jazz sold all their everybody. Yeah, Trailblazers don't have anybody except for what's his name?
Call
no, except for golly, what's his name?
Tell him
Lillard, except for Lillard, Damian Lillard.
Damian.
That's all that really has. Yeah, Damian Lillard. That's all they have. So I mean, he's been super loyal to them. I feel bad for Damian Lillard. I wish he could get a good team together, man. But anyway, so right now the Oklahoma City and Dallas are fighting for that last spot in the play-in. So let's do this. Let's say who you see. Let's look at the East first. Who do you think is going to clinch those play-in spots? I mean, and Brooklyn's right there. They could fall down. So who's going to be in the play-in? We could even put New York in there, but it looks like Brooklyn through maybe Chicago. I don't know if Washington has a chance to get in. They could if they make a run these last few games. Who's going to make the play-in for the East?
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
When they do the play-in, so it's like 1 through 10, 8, 9, and 10. I guess they play each other, and then it's only going to be 18 from each conference, right?
So 7 and 8 play each other, right? The winner of that gets the 7 seed. Okay. And the loser of the 7-8 plays the winner of the 9-10.
And then it's only going to be 8 teams, right?
There's going to be 8 teams. The winner of the 7-8 locks in the 7 seed. Yep. The loser plays the winner of the 9-10. Yeah, so if you lose the 9-10 game, you're out. Okay. The 9-10 plays the loser of the 7-8. And then you end up with 8 teams.
So who see the teams like the Bucks will play if the right?
Yeah, it'd be Bucks playing number 8 team. Yeah, whoever the number 8 team ends up being. But I'm just trying to get the play-in. Are these teams? Is this your play-in teams right here? Is this your play-in teams? Miami, Atlanta, Toronto, Chicago. Maybe Washington gets in. Brooklyn drops. What are you looking at?
Man.
To me, the East is pretty set.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I think the East is set. The Nets may drop maybe one or 2.
I could see Miami and Brooklyn switching. Brooklyn is playing pretty well, and Miami is playing well as at the end of the season. And I think Jimmy Butler, I love Jimmy Butler in the playoffs. So I could see them flip-flopping. But other than that, I think the rest of the play-in is set. But I think the Nets and the Heat could flip-flop depending on what happens in the last few games of the season.
But I do see. I think the Bulls may catch on fire, man, towards the end.
Okay.
I think the Bulls got a chance to stay within that. I think the Bulls might move up to maybe 8.
Oh, you think they have a chance to go up to 8? Okay. I mean, they're close. Yeah, but I think they're right there.
I think
how they play it.
The top 10. I think those top 10, the Wizards or the Pacers may slip in, man. But I think the record's already been set, man. Pretty straight.
I think these teams stay in. They're all played pretty consistently at the end of the season. I don't know that Washington is playing well enough to slip into the play-in. They're too far behind. And I think Chicago is playing well enough to stay in. I think Toronto and Chicago could flip-flop, and I think that the Nets and the Heat could flip flop, and maybe Brooklyn ends up in the play-in, and Chicago ends up the number 9 seed. But it doesn't really matter. 9 and 10 are going to play each other either way, whether Chicago moves up or not. The only difference, Chicago moves up to 8. Then you've got a different scenario, and Chicago's going to end up playing either Miami or Brooklyn. So then that changes things. But I think this is going to end up being kind of how the seedings go, except for 6 and 7. I think they could flip flop is the most likely scenario in this play-in. The West, which is a little contested. I mean, even Utah could make this play-in number 12. They're going to have 35 wins. I mean, you're talking about from number 7, number 12 is two game difference.
2 games.
So who to make from 7 to 12? I mean, 35 wins. Even though it seemed like at first Utah was trying to tank, or whatever the case may be. They got rid of all their assets. So what do you see here in this play? Who ends up in the play-in and who slips into the playoffs? Either number 6 or higher seed, and who basically makes the play-in here. This is a hotly contested play-in in the West here.
I mean, as we projected earlier, Warriors, Pelicans, all these teams were like at the top, man. But
I think these top seeds they're at. I think Sacramento could make a push, but I think this is kind of how it looks. Golden State and Clippers could
already scripted out pretty good.
4, 5, and 6 could move around, but the Warriors could. I mean, if they drop any games going into the stretch, what is there? How many games is left? There's only a few games left.
What is this? 4
There's only like
6 games.
When did the playoffs start?
April 15th.
April 15th?
It's 82 games.
So, how many games have they played so far?
They played.
Let's see, 39 and 36 is what? 60. See, 73. Wait, no, 76. Wait, let's see, that's 39, 45, 55, 65, 75. So there's basically somewhere in the neighborhood of 7 to 8 games left. Yeah, it depends on who you are, but there's somewhere. Okay, so 7 to 8 games left. So there's plenty of time to move up and down on here, depending on when you lose, and so I guess it just depends who they play at the end of the season.
Right.
So let's see who the Lakers play. Let's look in here and see who they play at the end of the season.
Elias, where you at, man?
Elias is a big fan. I don't know where he's at. He chickened out. I don't know. Maybe fell asleep. Let me hit that laugh track. Okay. All right. So they play Chicago. They've already lost for a play-in spot. So that's tough. So they got Minnesota, who's also vying for a playoff spot. Houston should be a W. Utah could be. The Clippers, I'm not sure. The Phoenix Sun could be a tough game. And then Utah could be a tough game depending on if they're going to set to make the playoffs. I mean, Utah's right there too. So I think they need to win
3 wins.
They need to win 4. They need to win 4 of these to stay in the play-in. My opinion.
To stay.
I think Phoenix, Utah, Houston, and either Chicago or Minnesota they need to win. That's doable for them.
Yeah.
So I think that's doable for them. Let's look at what else we got. So we got. Let's look at New Orleans. I think Zion's who they got left to play the rest of these time. So there's about 8 games left. This is taking way too long. Here we go. All right. Computer's lagging. All right, so they got Brooklyn. That's going to be a tough game. Charlotte, that should be a win. Oh, no, that's not it. Let's go to the bottom. Sorry. That was earlier. So they got Portland. Portland, they should win that game.
Also,
Golden State will be a tough game. Denver, tough game. Depending on if it's locked up, maybe they rest their starters. I don't know. The Clippers probably be a tough game. Sacramento will be a tough game. Memphis that's a tough game. New York's a tough man. They've got a tough stretch.
They go the rest of the way.
5 of those games. I can see only winning 2 of those games.
What I'm saying. They look good for them.
Wow. Yeah. So
those guys.
Yeah. So the Pelicans might drop to the 10th, depending on how that schedule. Let's look at Dallas. Dallas needs to make the playoffs. Let's see if they have kind of chance. Let's look at their schedule for Dallas. They need to make a push here at the end. They're out right now. They're out of the play-in. So they got Indiana. That could be a W, but then Philadelphia, a tough game. Miami, a scrappy team with Jimmy Butler going into the playoff. Then you've got Atlanta. Then you've got Sacramento, Chicago, and San Antonio. That should be an easy game. San Antonio's not. So San Antonio, 4, 5, 7. Got 7 games. Man, I think the Mavericks. The Mavericks got to win 4 of these to have a chance.
And right now, the Mavericks
they've got to beat Atlanta, Chicago. I think San Atlanta, maybe Miami is the games that are winnable for them. Man, they got a tough schedule too. The Mavericks might miss playoffs. They might miss. So based on schedule, the Lakers got the easiest road, huh?
Who else you want to pull up?
Let's see Minnesota, since they're right there. Let's see what their schedule looks like. 8. Yeah, let's see what their schedule looks like. They got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They got 8 games. So they got Golden State. It's gonna be a tough game. Sacramento, Phoenix. Then the Lakers. That's gonna be a big game for them because that could be a tiebreaker.
Gotta beat the Lakers.
And then you got Portland, Brooklyn, San Antonio, New Orleans. So they got a tough schedule too.
Got no room.
So I think the Lakers are gonna make it. I'd say the Lakers to play in.
So the Lakers, if the Lakers are the 8 seed, they gotta play first round. Denver.
Yeah, Minnesota, New Orleans. They both have tough schedules to finish out the season. The Lakers got an easier schedule at the end of the season. Let's see what Oklahoma has. The Lakers, they're playing. I'm already convinced of that now. And then also Dallas has got a tough schedule, and they're not even in the play-in right now. Let's look at this last one and just to see. Oklahoma, they got Portland, Charlotte, Detroit, Indiana. Oh, they got a little easier schedule. Phoenix, Golden State, got a couple of tough ones. Utah, and then Memphis in the season. So, I mean,
ain't nobody got no easy road.
They can win those games. I mean, I think the Lakers do of these playing teams. Of these 4 teams here, the Lakers have the easiest schedule. Right? Don't you say?
Yeah.
Yeah. Out of these 4 teams, the Lakers got the easiest schedule. So if they don't make the play-in, they don't deserve to be in there. Okay.
No.
Teams for sure have a tougher. These 2 for remaining schedules. It all depends what Golden State does. As long as they can keep winning and stay 1 or 2 games ahead of everybody, they'll stay at the number 6 seed. We'll see what happens. So the 15th, that's the play-in. That's the play-in games, right?
Play-in games 11 through 14. So that's like what 2 weeks away.
11 through the 14th.
They're gonna do the play-in game 11 through 14th, and the playoffs start on the 15th.
Okay, so there you go.
So the playoffs.
Everybody's got about 7-8 games left.
Yeah.
Man, the Mavericks might miss the playoffs. Wow, that's surprising. Unless Kyrie and Luka can get it together and make a run here at the end of the season. But they got a tough schedule coming up.
Start this Tuesday or next two Tuesdays from.
Woo! A lot of sports going on.
That's the 11th, and then the playoffs will start that Saturday.
Right.
Man, it's gonna be crazy, bro.
Gonna be crazy. A lot of sports going on. Got the Final Four. A lot of stuff going on, man. This is gonna be a great And then we got the draft coming up next month, I think, in April.
27th is the draft. Yeah.
Yeah, so we got a lot of good games coming up, a lot of things heating up, and we'll see what happens, man. A lot to talk about coming up soon.
Sir.
Yeah. Man, what a show.
Bro, we caught up on a lot of good stuff.
A lot of good stuff going on, man. Yeah, a lot of changes. Hey, we might be changing up the show. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure, but we'll see what happens. We appreciate everybody out there, all the people who watch the repeat, who make comments, who send stuff to the page. We appreciate you contributing to the page. That's good for us, for the page. We appreciate you sharing stuff, sharing your sports knowledge, sharing your teams and different news that comes up. Appreciate all that. And hey, let's shoot for 1,100, 1,500 by September 1st or something like that.
September 1st, man. Labor Day weekend.
September 1st. Let's go. Let's go. Oh. All right, man. Hey, team, man. It is what it is, man. Oh, that's not it. Let me start the other one, man. All right, so yeah, it was a great show, and let me put in our ending credits. Let me hang on just a second. Here we go. There it is. I had the wrong one up, but yeah, it's been a great show. Appreciate you. Appreciate everybody who watches this later. Share it, stuff. Canteen. A lot of good sports coming up, man. Had some fun. Caught up in a lot of stuff. Woo!
Yeah, man. Which way? We'll try to regroup this week. Man, get something going this week, man.
Hey, we can regroup. We can do something during the week. It don't matter. We don't have to do it on the weekend. It's our show. We can do whatever we want, right?
Let's do some Thursday.
All right. Yeah, I'll let you know my schedule. We jump in Thursday, man, because there's a lot to get in one show, man. We want to kind of split it up. A lot of stuff going on.
What, bro?
Yeah. All right, bro.
I am out, dog. See you, bro.
All right, man. Thanks a lot. Appreciate y'all joining the show, man. We'll see you next time.
All right.
All right.